Howdy, Don. Leslie. Hello, Cindy. Alright, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. Alright, let's get this show on the road here. Get this started. And while we're kind of getting this going here in this loop playing, we don't seem to have everybody here quite yet, but I want to do a quick little correction because a couple of days ago during one of the streams we had somebody new come in and kind of stirred things up, and I responded, but I was responding to something I saw in the chat who I thought was the new person. And going back through a couple of days later, once the chats finally posted, I went through it and found out somebody took it offensively. So I wanted to make sure we made a correction. And if New York Debs is out there, or if she shows up later, one of you guys let her know. Make an apology for that. All right, now we got that out of the way. Okay. Let's start off. This is 1/20/2025, beginning of a golden age, huh? I'm sure everybody's kind of breathing a sigh of relief. We made it through that long period there of just being on edge there. So A little sigh of relief for everybody, and that doesn't mean the sun takes a break, though. Okay, the sun still does its thing, and you can see we had these spire regions right here. You can see activity coming out of it, and we'll go through this little by little here, frame by frame. But I'll let that loop play and take a moment to thank all of you for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this precious family. Okay, this is truly a precious family. And when you make it to the end of the show, to the spiritual report, you will indeed find out how precious this family is and how precious you are to me. All right, got that out of the way. Here, let me grab this really quick. And I think we can get started here. Anyways, yeah, I made a mistake there. It looked like I offended somebody, so I went through the chat and to check out what had happened. I want to fix that mistake, so that's what I like to do: is admit my mistakes and try to correct them as quickly as possible, and admit when I'm wrong too, because that happens sometimes. We can be wrong. There's New York Debs. Hey, wait a second. You're in blue, aren't you? Oh, yeah, you do have a good radar, though. I saw that in the chat. So, darling, I wanted to apologize to you because that was the other person I was responding to. I misread the chat, and then my bad. I got this habit of kind of interacting with the chat during the show, and so much going on in my head during the report, and then trying to juggle the chat. I knew better, and that was my bad. So, my bad. Bless you. And New York Debs, you should have had a wrench a long time ago. Okay. Anyways, enough said. Let's get her done. All right. So here we go. Catch this opening frame. I'm glad you're here and you heard that at the right time. Always about the right time, right place. Huh. Okay. So here we go. Opening frame 036. Oh, we can go one more back. Not much difference though. This is a little event. This UFO still shooting out of here. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, sweetie. You deserve it. You earned it. You forgave me, right? So that's a good way to get into this family, huh? All right, so here we go. You see your spire region. There's a little activity up here, but we're seeing our little UFO moving on out here. So bing, 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 bing. Okay, there goes your UFO, your little object, whatever you want to call it. I'll let you be the judge of this as well. Some of these are spherical little spheroids. Other ones you can tell are little discs. Okay. Now, when we get to this event that comes up off the top here, this event here changes shape. It shifts and goes across the screen. So when we put that back into motion, you'll see it more defined when it's in motion. But there's something in the background moving, grabbing this plasma and shifting it across the screen here. Can't really detect it right there, but here you can see another little moon, something, little satellite moving on through. It didn't cause a CME, but you can still see it in the flow of the solar wind. Comes another event off the top here, our spire region again. Okay, so didn't look like much. Here comes another event right here, coming out the side. All right, and there's your little loop for today. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it back into motion, and you'll see this. See that motion? See it pushing something over here or pulling the flow over to this side again with this event here. Let me adjust for you guys. There we go. And let's actually speed it up a little bit. Yeah, see how it shifted over like that? Something back behind the sun there. Whatever, it didn't like it come right up to the sun. It was moving somewhere across. So all kinds of different activity going on here. Every once in a while we catch, our objects, we catch this and that, UFOs, and then something moving back here, taking plasma and throwing it with this. So interesting activity today. Let's slow it down just a tad bit. I guess didn't have to speed it up too much. Okay, crazy activity still going on around our sun, okay? All right, so let's come on over here to solar ham. Something else I want to point out here. Solar flux index in the red at 230, okay? That's pretty high, even though it's come down 4 points. Look at this. Sunspot numbers 277, up another 134. Okay, this is their page. This is Solar Ham's report. Okay, sunspot numbers 277 were up 134. I've never seen the sunspot number higher than the solar flux index. Okay, and the area is in red too. And we got this massive sunspot out there, so it's taking up a lot of area too. So let's even take a peek. First of all, solar flux index 230, 277, another 134. That tells me there's another, I think there's another big object with more of these moons and satellites approaching, either approaching the backside, another side, or however it is. We're seeing a drastic uptick, an added 134. I've never seen that many jump that much, 134. So let's take a peek under the hood, shall we? I'll go in a little tighter for you. And thanks for bearing with my low-grade technology. I watched one of my shows and I'm like, oh my God, my stream looks horrible and it's all funky. I don't have all the great little tools that everybody else does, but well, we just managed, don't we? Okay, our big monster here, 3961. This thing is huge and it's, pretty strong. Not too close there's not closeness. They need to be a little bit closer, but we do have beta, gamma, delta configuration out of that sucker right there, and it's going to be our next little event to kind of keep our eyes on here. It's what's going on here. At 3961, we got 3959. It was just a single polarity, so that one's departing, but this big monster right here is huge, and it's taking up a lot of area. So let's back on out of that. Let's come on down. You see your geomagnetic forecast all good. Let's zoom in and see how fluxed we are. We don't even need to zoom in, really. Okay, not much to look at, pretty smooth. Even though your solar flux is way up at 230, it doesn't show on the graph. This line should be a little bit higher, almost up to the M class. So something a little different going on here. Okay, we're seeing activity kind of low on the graph, little bumps and clicks and stuff, but sure is not a reflection of the 230 that we see on our solar flux index. Okay, now here's the activity going into tomorrow. I know you guys hate looking into the future. Nobody likes to see what's already going on or take a little peek. But we could check that out if you want to. But since you don't want to, tough. We're doing it anyway. All right. Not much to look at, but we do have quite a little strong event coming here. Note your spire region still going on. These are your latest frames, okay? So we still have a spire region. We still have all these little needles kind of growing around there. So that could be a little flurry of these satellite and moons and stuff approaching the sun here. We might see a little uptick in activity coming up here. Meanwhile, let's get back to the show. All right, so little peek right there, not too much. There's Tina P. Hi, good. Everybody making it here. My bad. I got to get a better camera set up or a better tripod or something. Okay, whoopsie, too zoomed in. All right, so let's get back up here. X-flare potential 20%. Okay, it could be a little bit higher. You'll see why here in a second. There's your geomagnetic forecast all clear for the next 3 days. I love that. Okay, I don't want to see any more geomagnetic enhancement. Okay, but sometimes we get caught off guard and it should not be a surprise here. Okay, meanwhile, your aurora is very weak right now. It says active right here. Your KP is still pretty active, but your auroras aren't glowing all that good. They're pretty dim. Okay. And this KP chart's like 3 hours behind too. Anyway, so but we did have a good spike, first spike above 4 in a little while. So a little higher uptick, not uptick, but a little higher average right here on your KP overall. Okay, it's not in the storm in area yet, but storm level yet, but that's getting there. Okay, now we got all these sunspots. We got 3969 beta gamma, 3068 delta, beta delta. Here's your monster, 3964 beta gamma delta. And the last time I just looked at this, it said it was growing. So they just changed it to stable. Meanwhile, you got a 3961 beta gamma delta and growing. So we got two delta configurations right here growing. Now that one's stable. Thank you, Lord, because this one was still growing. That's the big one, 64. Okay. Cleaning up the show here. High speed solar wind stream around 600 kilometers per second and periods of southward BZ is contributing to an active KP4 geomagnetic conditions at higher latitudes. A minor G1 geomagnetic storm watch is in effect. Really? Didn't show up here. Okay, well, check it out. G1 storm watch possibly in effect until 2100. Okay, that was yesterday. Let's do some track-a-lacking in case they're lacking some tracking. And just one small little thing, nothing on their chart right there. We can move past that. We caught that yesterday, so let's go ahead and get on over to spaceweather.com. Dr. Tony Phillips over here. You guys are all coming over here showing some love too. That's good. Okay, a big sunspot is facing Earth. Sunspot 3961. I think they're talking about 64. Okay, now it's 61. Sorry, is one of the largest sunspots of solar cycle 25, and after days of impressive growth, it is now directly facing Earth with a beta gamma delta magnetic field that harbors energy for the X-class solar flares. Geoeffective explosion may be in the offing. Hang on here. Let me do my correction really quick. 3961. 64 is the one that's departing the limb right there. Okay, so when we come back here really quick, 61 is the beta gamma delta growing. The one that is facing us, the big monster, is beta gamma delta and growing. Okay, I confused that with 64. Okay. So the big 64 that's departing still has that configuration, but stable, where your 61, the big one facing directly in the middle of the sun, is the one with growing potential right there. Okay, understand the correction I had to make there? Good. Now, let's see days of impressive growth. You know what we can do? We can see days of impressive growth much closer than that. All right, just let that play for a little second here. A little different angle than we're used to seeing at this show. Let's see if we can kind of clean this up a little bit. Use that as a background. All right, so that is pretty massive sunspot, and it kind of blossoms and grows in intensity. So something maybe behind us or something approaching the sun from an angle around that magnetic field, where the magnetic field or the corona of the sun is right around there, so causing roiling. All right, pulling back now and back to our little tidbit here. Okay, whoops, my bad. Okay, so I guess we didn't pull back enough. There we go. Okay, so that is a giant sunspot that is facing Earth. It's the 61, the largest of the solar cycle 25. You just saw the impressive growth, and it's now directly facing Earth with its beta gamma delta magnetic field. Okay, I know I said it a couple times, but sometimes it starts to sink in after the second time you realize, oh, the big bad one is the delta configuration growing and facing us. Okay. Potential for an X-flare or Earth-directed X-flare. You understand what they're saying? Geoeffective explosions may be in the offing. Good and bad news about the comet Atlas. First, the good news: Atlas C-24 has just emerged into the heavenly sky of the southern hemisphere, and it's a beauty. I don't think I've ever seen a comet as beautiful. Okay, beautiful article here. The bad news is it's going to crash into Earth when it comes back around. No, I'm joking. Let's move on to the Schumann, shall we? Are you guys caught up in the show right now? Good. Uh-oh. Everybody take a deep breath. Here we go. So, we had some increasing activity ever since a little scraping here, a little scraping there. Pretty good continuity as far as our 7.83 green line. Okay, that's the one that was the most important going across like that. Now, right where we got the arrow in the way, you start to see intensity grinding here. A little break, something relieve pressure. Went back to normal, but pressure's increasing again. A break, pressure increasing again. A very little stoppage right at the end here. And then our latest readings go down to 15. That's white stripe. It's white to, well, almost about down here where my little arrow is. Okay. Now, something else is going on here. I really got to look deeper and pray harder on this one, but this new line showing up here is like 35 hertz. Okay, so something at a higher frequency grinding is there's some kind of layer, or we're getting that frequency from grinding at a higher pitch, at a higher frequency. Okay, these low frequencies are where that slows down. It hits the crust. The Schumann resonance coming up through the mantle. When it hits the crust, it slows down. It's 7.83, and I believe right around here somewhere might be our crust barrier, this little line. And when we get magma flowing on the underside of the crust, we're seeing grinding on this little line, and then a new little line down here. So I believe it might be something even deeper. Or, well, this would be the core, so something a little higher up. Maybe this is magma flowing over the outside of the outer core. This would be maybe the inside or the underside of the crust, and then this would be flowing over. Well, imagine if this was curved like this, and this was the outer core, my hand. This would be the top of the outer core. All right, magma flowing over that, and then your crust up above it. So this might be the barrier of magma in between this line and this line. And as it flows, it grinds on the outer core and then grinds on the underside of the crust. We'll see what's going on here, but this core spinning inside of its shell is what creates your magnetic field. If you take a little toy motor on a little handheld fan, the basic little round motor with a little shaft that spins and has a little plastic propeller on it or whatever. Those simple little motors have magnets in them, and when you put electricity into it, it makes the shaft spin. When that shaft spins, the magnetic field, there's already a small magnetic field around the motor, but once you engage the motor and it's rotating, the magnetic field jumps out in size. Okay, it grows in diameter, spherical in all directions. Okay, so it comes out from that little dynamo, that little motor spinning, and propagates out through the magma, through the crust, out into space, and then it hits the ionosphere, the whatever barrier it's hitting. It's bouncing back down as an echo, and this is recording the echoes of the Earth's hum. Okay, so you see our activity. It's been a bumpy ride. This can be a little painful. It can also cause mood swings. It can cause people to be irritable and violent. Other people act different ways, receive it different ways. So there's a little bumpy ride going on, and it's an indication that pressure down below, we're grinding again. And then this This looks some new activity here too, so we'll kind of keep monitoring this. And currently, we're having a pretty strong spike, so here we go. That's an indication that pressure down, down below is building and coming up to the surface. This is like a new wave, a new round of pressure probably coming up here. All right. Most of you guys understand that. We're getting it. Let's go to the null school and get schooled in the null, shall we? And Lizard Hunter, we're going to have to get you a wrench here too. Okay, we got all this. Actually, you know what? Let's leave it at this level for a second. Got a nice little storm rotating right there. Our intertropical convergence zone, not so strong division anymore, but it's still kind of separated right there, shifted a little bit north of the equator. It's slowly coming down, but it's still there. Okay, wanted to look over here. Where'd it go? All right, cool. We're good. Let's take you up a little higher to the weather patterns. Okay, and now when we do this part of the show tonight, I'm gonna point out that where, come on, stop shaking there. Where our lower jet is why is this all shaking? I think my camera glitching. You have to pull back a little bit like that. You okay? Well, that's weird. It's like inside my phone or something because the table ain't shaking. I don't know. Shake you guys up a little bit? No? What's going on here? Alright, I'm sorry, guys. Something's shaking my inside the screen. And that's no good. Is it shaking for you guys? Where'd my chat go? It is shaking, huh? What the heck is going on here? Well, that's odd. Because I'm holding it totally still, sitting in the tripod, and it's like somebody's shaking the camera inside the phone. And it wasn't doing that just a second ago. Ah, yes, isn't technology wonderful? Anyways, we have this activity going on right quick. Let's see, maybe if we just show my ugly mug, maybe that might break the camera. Hey, there we go. That worked out. All right. All right, here we go. So we're starting to have activity. The lower jet stream is starting to tug a war with the thermal effects now because we're getting deeper into winter. It's about time that this lower jet stream starts to creep in with some effect. Here's your storm level right here. Here's your lower jet stream. Okay, you see this really intense band here in the lower jet stream that's going right across the East Coast here, or, the middle part of the country to the East Coast. You see all this coming over Washington, coming down like that, and then swooping through there. Now, when we come over here really quick and go down to 850, that's not the case at 850. This is where our weather patterns have been at. But in between 850 and the lower jet is this barrier right here. Okay, this is starting to conform to the lower jet stream and the 850 here a little bit. So when I see this barrier in between 700 and 850 right here, it means it's the lower jet stream starting to have a little influence now over some of this. the thermal activity is still in control, but you're seeing small influences from the lower jet now a little bit as we get deeper into winter. Real quick, let's take you up to the polar vortex and pull back so you guys can see this. All right, so there's our polar vortex spinning around. You can see we have a sub-vortex over here. Hopefully that'll finish off and it'll just be one main vortex. But when you have a sub one like this still rotating, it pinches this off into a different shape. It's not perfectly round, right? It's not going right over the center. Here's the pole right here. So it's not centered over the top. It's way dipped down on one side of the planet and going right across the top of the planet, all because of another sub-vortex. So when we rotate around to the side that has the deep dip in it is over Siberia and everything. Meanwhile, we pull back over here to America. There's your polar vortex, your split bipolar vortex, okay? And that's way up high. So we come down a little bit. There's a little barrier zone right there. And then your upper jet stream, which is all wonky, okay? So back to your 850s. Here's your storms. Okay, let me go back into this. I just wanted to point that out a little bit. A little quick polar vortex report. Okay. And put on all that. Now let's come on over to our sandstorm report. You guys are hanging in there. Alrighty. Moving on over. All right, so still, wow, just huge plume of sand here. It's not very, dark white intensity, but it's very widespread and dispersed. Okay, that's huge. Okay, stretching all the way across the Atlantic Ocean to South America there. We also have activity here in Saudi Arabia, Middle East, everything. Over here, Australia having their own. It's even gets blown all the way up to the top of the planet now. There's sand, dust, dirt, particulates all the way up to the North Pole. Okay, so it's spreading. It continues. It's not stopping. It's getting, more and more widespread. Okay, you guys want to look at some of the other particulates? No, the SO4 one's just to make you sick sometimes. Let's do SO2 though, shall we? So there's sulfur dioxide, not carbon dioxide. I know I say that every time, but that's for people that might get a little confused. Make sure we're getting our current conditions. Ooh, good. All right, so current conditions as we're zooming in here. You can see our country divided here. One side it's bleeding out. We got very porous crust, very spongy type structure, so pathways are all over the place. So it bleeds out on this side. Meanwhile, on the west side here, you got granite and mountains and stuff, thicker crust, so it's more volcanic perforations. There's your country starting to not look as divided anymore. Okay, some of this activity is starting fires. And our fire activity has kind of diminished. You can see all of the plumes are pretty light in their emissions. Well, we do have some strong plumes going on, but no fires at them. That's good. Okay, so come down here, check this one out in Southern Cal here, where we had our fires before. Sorry, I'm trying to recover from having to fix the camera there. All right. Oh, that's better. Okay, so down here, LA area, you see the plume that was right here has diminished. This one that's right here where the fire was is diminished too. It's still there, but it's not as dark. It's not as wide and big, so it's slowly, diminishing in its intensity, which is good. We need that for that area so people can get time to recover. Okay, and A lot of prayers heading that way because people are just in shock. They've lost their world's over. Their normal lives and stuff have changed now, and to have to live in it and drive through it every day as a constant reminder would be very hard. So, prayers going out for everybody in this area. Thankfully, the pressure has kind of died down a little bit. We have seen a little uptick in pressure on the Schumann, so we might see a little possible flare up when we do see wind coming through here. We also have the wind event coming, but if we're pray right, I think we could avoid a lot more damage if people play the cards right. A little better there. Yeah, reality hit hard, and it does every day when you have to drive through it and stuff. There was a home that made it through the fires. I think it was a home that one that it escaped the fire to be taken out by a landslide the next day. So it's just an insult to injury. So we're gonna need a lot of strength over the time. So still a little few fires right here, not too much. Okay, calm down in that area. You'll see on the thermals here in a little bit. Okay, as we go on down, you can tell. Let me just take these fires off now. Okay, Mexico's still having issues. Cuba, all these places, all these are volcanic islands out here. Each one of them spewing SO2, which is vaporized magma. Okay, it's basically magma that the magma's so thick it can't push up through a little tiny pinhole, so the gas can. And this gas comes out of the ground thousands of degrees and can, spontaneously combust any kind of bushes or any foliage nearby the emission site. All independent sites, all individual sites, all through here. We're going into our fulcrum point on the plate boundary, nice and dark right there. The other ones are all faded and kind of blended, so kind of a little weak pressure right now as far as these readings right here. A little smaller plume out there in the Pacific, so all in all, there's South America. Let's come on into Hawaii. The hub of the Pacific Rim, much like a bicycle rim that has a hub. Well, the Pacific Rim has a hub too, and that's Hawaii. And we got SO2 emissions coming out of Oahu, as well as, well, Kilauea erupting and SO2 emissions. So the middle of the hub of the Pacific Ocean, the little perforation in the crust right there, spewing, relieving pressure as well. Let's adjust for their time frame here. Okay, the big bruise on the face of the planet, China here, still very strong emissions out of this area. Okay, we're taking a look at Taiwan, a little bit less here. It looks like it's kind of hard to read because the stuff blowing off from China is so thick, but you can see Taiwan might be a little less. We had an earthquake there, so it might be relieve some of the pressure in that region. Okay, I'll let you be the judge of that as well. Let's see if we can get a good shot of it here. And right where this SO2 emission line is right here, where this purple line starts and the white one ends right there, that's your plate boundary that runs right through Taiwan right there. And we got SO2 leaking out of that plate boundary crack, and that's where our quake was. It wasn't at the fulcrum point on this side of the island, it was on the other side. Meanwhile, there's China bleeding out. North Korea, Japan being a volcanic system, okay, coming on over to India. They have their issues. This gas comes out of the ground, tries to blow away, but it runs into the Himalayas and won't make it over, so it keeps circulating around, keeping gas intensity levels there in the purple, and they're starting to catch up with China. Meanwhile, this whole area, Middle East, Saudi Arabia, coming to life right here. There's SO2 and methane emissions too coming out of the ground. That methane being a flammable gas at thousands of degrees is already at flame temperature. So all it needs is oxygen and it bursts into flame. So they're having SO2 emissions as well as flaming pits in the sand out there. Activity goes clear up into Russia, Europe. Oh dear. Whew. Okay, so even little stuff down there in South Africa. All right, we want to come over here, check out Java really quick. Uh, you can see some of this is offshore here. The wind's taking it offshore, so if you pushed all that back on, it'd be a little bit darker there on Java, and it's already pretty dark as it is. So it's doing its best. It's pumping out lots of SO2, lots of volcanic emissions happening in this region here too. So our relief valve doing its job, and all kinds of stuff around Sumatra, going up through the Philippines, Australia, not free of this activity. And we come on over to our plate boundary entrance here. We got our little pencil-shaped island with a couple of SO2 emission spots there, SO2 there out of Fiji. So our new little home reef, new little seamount that grew so tall it pushed up through the water and is now a new island, a new volcanic island, and it's got its daily SO2 emissions too. Okay. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So home reef, Fiji, a lot of pressure, deep pressure comes up to that region right there. So that's where like your valve stem of pressure coming in comes into the plate boundary. This acts like a slow leak in the bicycle tube, relieving pressure before it comes through the plate boundary system, keeping earthquakes and magnitudes down. Okay, moving on. Let's do our sea surface temperature anomalies. Here we go. Everybody take a deep breath and exhale. Now, there we go. All right, we got the winds on already. Look at that. Crazy. All right, let me get this winds off, do a really quick report, and then we'll get back to that. Starting over here, the area of concern was the LA Basin region right here, this pocket right here offshore. And as you can see, that whole region is kind of diminished. We got cold water intrusion now, and things are looking a lot better along the west coast here. There was a big bright red stripe that ran all the way up here. So a little transfer of pressure when this opened up here in Alaska has relieved pressure and activity on the west coast. Thankfully, because that takes away that big red patch that was right there. You know, could have been our cause of the SO2 emissions and our fires and stuff too. All right, so as we pull back, seamounts on the ocean floor erupting, either magma, hot water, steam, whatever, creates a column, and these columns of heated water rise up to the ocean surface and then blossom. You're looking at all these hot water anomalies from volcanic activity on the ocean floor. Okay, that is concerning. A lot of pressure being relieved right here, though. I mean, every time we get hit with some activity from the sun, it's keeping, earthquake magnitudes down, so we're not seeing magnitude 8s and 9s. We're also seeing a big release here, big opening here, keeping the earthquake magnitudes down along the plate boundary there. All right, just really quick, coming up here to Alaska. This is our latest spot that opened up, okay, and we had some earthquake activity right through this area. So an opening on the ocean floor here, pathway of least resistance, has let pressure transfer from this region over to here. It's a bigger opening. It's too hard for it to come out here. When it's easier there, it'll just whoop, transfer to the nearest path of least resistance. And you got cold water right up here. This is wintertime in Alaska, some of the coldest water in the world. Not there. We got our opening. We'll turn on our winds here in just a second. Oh, I also want to talk about really quick here in the Gulf of America. In the Gulf of America. I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the speech today, but you want to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. So we'll just start calling it the Gulf of America here. We got some intense hot spots. Big emission sites, very hot area, or a very decent sized area of very hot water, okay, in wintertime. This area should have cooled off by now, and we wouldn't have such severe weather hitting with the cold air. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and put our winds on. Like the circus music. And you got your weather patterns matching your hot, cold plumes. And now what it's done here at LA, I just leave it like right about there. Okay, you see your rotation going this way. It's causing rotation to go up through here. And now you're getting stuff being pulled back out of Nevada. And your Santa Ana winds going offshore here are kicking back up because of our heat pattern has changed. Okay, we prayed for a change so it would go away, and it worked. We've also seen changes up here when we prayed. So any kind of new opening, it could be clear over here, it would change a pattern that would change up this whole gear system, this whole conveyor belt system, and change the winds going a different direction. So meanwhile, there's your wind pattern setup and the reasons why for it as we go into this PDS warning for LA area. Okay. At least there's not a big old thermal heat plume right under that area. Also, this area here, still a lot of hot water mixing in with the, it was supposed to be La Nina, but we got openings on the ocean floor that messed that all up. Here, let's get this right there so you can see the flow matching with your heat signatures. And let's see, where else did I want to talk about? Well, we got this whole area here too. And if we buy Greenland, we're going to have some hot water issues offshore there too. Iceland, look at the cold water trying to creep around the edges of it, even though they're having volcanoes and all kinds of activity here at Iceland. You tend to let some cold water in there. All right, enough of that. Let's move on. Take the winds off. Come on over to our earthquake report. Yeah. Bingo. Oh, we gotta leave that up again. Now, over here at Taiwan, we finally had a decent sized quake in that region. But let's start off in our deep quake area. Fiji, no deep quakes in this little pocket area. So coming up on this plate boundary right here, this first little quake isn't on the plate boundary. It's right here by Vanuatu. It's a 4.9 down at 209. You know that's volcanic depth. So pressure is causing quake activity at a volcanic island. Here's your other one, relieving pressure. If this thing wasn't bleeding out SO2 every day, I bet you this would have been a much bigger quake, okay? And we would have a lot more quakes in this region. Pretty sure. I mean, it's a pretty safe bet. Anyways, let's come on up to this next quake. Is a 4.9. That's down at 35. So it's not on the plate bound. What the? It's not on the plate boundary right there. Did you see that just disappear? Okay. Moving on. No quakes there. Okay. Not all the quakes disappeared. Phew. That was a 4.9 that was right there. A 5, basically. We got another 5.5 here at 137. Coming up here is a 5.0 at the surface. Right above that is a 4.8 down at 189. Then we come over here, 5.4 down at 120 or 136. We got a lot of 5s, 5 plus, not just 5.0. 5.4s, 5.5s. There's a lot of 5s going on right now. And then we get to this, our event here at Taiwan. Now, this is our fulcrum point. All right, this is where we see most of our quake activity is at this fulcrum point right here. This is on the other side of the island. This is on this plate boundary. You see this red line run up through here and cut cut this little beach right off right there. That's where we're seeing the SO2 emissions is right along this red line right here. Let's see if I can get the color just a tad bit better. There we go. So this red line running through there's your plate boundary. That's where we're seeing the SO2 emissions is right along that seam. And now we're seeing quake activity there. Let's get into this because this was a 6.4. Well, look at that. 6.0 now. But that's at the surface, okay? What I was concerned about was the depth of this. If it was down deeper, hey, but this is a 6.0 to 6.4 at the surface. Really kind of shook things up. I showed you some of the video in the opening there. 4.7 at the surface, 5.1. There's another 5 and a 4.8 there. So pretty good shake and some aftershocks. Now this is more like your typical quake aftershock scenario. Sometimes we see swarming where it just continues for weeks and it keeps going and going and going, little quakes. So this isn't a quake swarm event. This is more of just a good old quake with a few aftershocks, the way we're used to seeing quake activity. Lately, it had been different with all of these swarms going on. Okay, so that's more of our regular quake activity, but right here instead of over here at the fulcrum point. So different change up right there. In fact, we got to come over here really quick. Come into Taiwan. Sorry, I'm making you guys dizzy. Well. Look at all this red that's crept into this area. We still have this opening on the bottom here. So a lot of pressure in this region. This whole stripe. Let me go like this. This whole stripe right there in Taiwan is right in it. So no wonder why they're having strong SO2 emissions right on the fracture, and we're seeing magnitude 6 plus in that area, still venting pressure in that region. It's still been a relief valve. It's just now taking place on the other side, on the other plate boundary there. Okay, backing on out. Let's come on over here. We had a couple of quakes here. There's a 5.3. There was another one, 4.8. Seems to be off the map now too. But another 5 at the surface. Okay, so an uptick in the amount of 5s we have. This is a new little spot, 4.4 at the surface there. Come over here to our weak spot, our path of least resistance here in Nepal, right by Mount Everest here. Well, look at it happen. Pressure came in. We get a 5.0 at the surface there. Note another 5 magnitude. Another 4.8 there too. Okay, so our weak spots getting hit with quakes, magnitude 5 quakes. 4.3 there. Again, here's another one of these latest weak spots over here in Iran. 4.0 at the surface here at this this new little spot that's erupted here. So scrubbing surface there at or energy there at the surface. Nothing in here. Let's go really quick. Still seeing magnitude mid-range 4s here in Africa. That's at the surface right there. Another one of our latest pathways that just opened up, shooting gases and smoke and everything into the sky. I showed you the vent that was just sounds like a fighter jet roaring. Okay, so there's that in Africa, still showing a little bit of activity. Also plate boundary activity out here. There's a few of them. It looked like one quake, but there's a 5.5 at the surface. Another magnitude 5. There's a 5.1 at the surface. 5.2. So there's 3 more magnitude 5s right there. A couple 4.8s. I don't know, slouch. 4.9. You know what we do with 4.9 here. So, and you can see this very jagged, like fulcrum pattern. It looks like a little box carved out right there almost, but earthquake activity at the surface right there. A bunch of 5s scrubbing energy right there, relieving pressure in that region. Also out here, Easter Island, 5.3 at the surface. Note another magnitude 5. Okay, they're just a big uptick in magnitude 5s. So that's an uptick in magnitudes because of the pressure being relieved from down below. 3.7, that's a little high for that region, so that shows that they're having issues, or the pressure's being relieved in that area. Finish off Japan really quick. 4.5, 4.6, okay. All magnitudes for America. America's back. All right, here we go. No Fulcrum Point quakes there anymore. Volcano activity relieving pressure in the region. As we come into Alaska, the Fulcrum Point area, you see it's all a bunch of microquaking. Biggest one being like 3. Fulcrum Point 3.3 right there. So magnitude 3s in this area. Latest one, well, let's go to that one. 1.8. So still current activity in there, but it's really weak. What was this Fulcrum Point one? A 2.7. Okay. Coming on down through the Wanda Fuker. Let's check up here in Washington. We're still seeing a little earthquake activity in between St. Helens and Rainier. It's nothing big, but it's just an indication that pressure down below is rattling underneath these volcanoes. Here's a new spot with a 3.5 Snoqualmie, huh? Well, look at this. 3.5, 2.8. Okay, we got some, they're not big, but this is a new little spot that's kind of popped up here. And I'm looking at this area right here. Well, it's all in these mountainous foothills and stuff right through here. So that's a weak zone, this foothill area. So we'll have to watch that. Snoqualmie, everybody. You got a little activity going on there. And kind of in line with the volcanoes. Maybe something going on underneath there. Okay, coming on down. Really quiet at our Fulcrum Point today with a 3.2 at 14 there. Very quiet all through Northern California. A little microquaking going on here at the geysers. Small little North Bay, nothing. South Bay, 1.4, same magnitudes there. So very quiet. Thankfully, a lot of that pressure relieved that was all red along the coast. And where I was starting to put out a little warning for the San Andreas there, maybe magnitude 5 or, possible 6, is now, gone now because all that pressure is gone in that area. So you can see our resulting magnitudes and quake activity is really very small and very quiet. Here's your eyeball type structure. Just let's take it right here. Boom, right there. And that's where the heat had crept in, was in underneath this little type structure right here. And we saw uptick in quake activity along the boundary of it. And then SO2 emissions right here at the site and the fire. Okay. And then when all that heat receded, everything kind of calmed down. Meanwhile, your current quake magnitudes right here is 1.2. On the other side, 2.2. Okay, so not too bad. Still scrubbing energy at the surface here, but in really, really small magnitudes, which is good. Man-made perforations in the crust. We all understand that. Yeah, these are all small. So pressure in this region's keeping quake magnitudes down to no more than 2. This current one is like a 1.2. Yeah, we don't have to care about that. I'm looking for this though. A little Fulcrum Point quake on the New Madrid. It's not a big one. 2.4. Sorry. Come back here. 2.4 at 6.7 in depth. That's really shallow depth. Okay, so it's close to the surface. We're seeing 2.4 is not, nothing to be concerned about, but it's activity up here at the New Madrid it's an indicator that it's still weak in that area. When pressure comes up, another spot to watch. Okay, nothing along the Craton, and we already did that. So I think we're done. Look how quiet it is along the shoreline of South America. Okay, no quake activity all along this whole area, the plate boundary, all the way out here. See how quiet it is on that whole area. Meanwhile, out here at Easter Isle, where we had this 5.3, we'll just go this way. Hang on. We have this region, heat right here, Easter Isle more right there. Okay, so this heat that's coming out here is building pressure, causing earthquakes at the plate boundary, and relieving pressure, keeping all this quiet. See? I'll let you be the judge of that as well. Okay, now let's move on to our volcanoes. You guys are so patient. Here, let's get this. Pull back this a little bit better there. Okay. We have 37 erupting volcanoes and 39 that are active. Okay. Altogether, we have 76 either currently erupting or active. We have 76 active volcanoes. Okay, there we go. Now, 7 years ago, when all this stuff started happening to me, we had one volcano. And the idea of there being 76 active volcanoes would seem ludicrous. It would sound crazy. And if I had told you 7 years ago, we're going to have 76 volcanoes, you would have said, Brian, you are crazy. Well, here we are, 7 years later, 76 volcanoes, and yes, I am still crazy about you. Let's do this. Here we go. Okay, interactive map. It did not take that. Click on that, please. There we go. Put a banana in your garden. Or eat it before you waste it. All right. All the pretty little satellite pictures that don't really show much at all. Okay, explosive activity, 14,000 feet out of Shibaluj, up in the Kamchatka. That's a good blast out of there. That's a good indication of pressure built it up. Okay, Sakurajima, 7,000. Ibu, I be with you. No, that's not on that one. Okay, Luatobi, 10,000 feet, and Luatolo, 6,000 feet. Got Semaru on Java, probably 14 or 15. Dukono, 8. Popocatépetl, still going off. It was like 19 yesterday, and now another 20. Nevada del Ruiz with a 21-footer. Reventador back on the map with 14. Okay. Oh, and that was just in the last few minutes, because here's the 20th, which was today and is now yesterday, because, well, time just flies at this channel. All right, there's your map of madness. This map never used to exist. There was only one little volcano over here in Hawaii. Now it's all these have all come to life over the last 7 years. And what was a couple months ago, we were total at 70 volcanoes. It was 68, and it was 69, and finally we crested 70. We're at 76 now and climbing. It's not like the number's going down, it's climbing. Got these two up in Iceland coming to life here. There's your home reef, brand new island. Okay, so crazy, crazy map, crazy times. And don't forget, we have a currently erupting volcano on the continent of Antarctica. I'm going to say the Arctica of Antarctica. Vivid glow from the vents. Yay. Let's get into Lushvushvoil. The seismic activity continues to intensify at nearly 100 earthquakes. Okay, same report as yesterday. Sakurajima, 7,000. Man, everybody on this channel is just chugging oil, man. Suwanosejima, 6,000 feet. Kenalone, 9. Ibu, I be with you at 8,000. There we go. We're chilling at 8,000 feet together. Luatobi, 10,000. There it is. Semaru, 15. That's its max, pretty much. Marapi, no report. Dukono, 8,000. Now, Kilauea The Kilauea eruption paused at 10:10. The fountain activity suddenly subsided. Events associated with laws of flows. Okay, so a little subsiding there at Kilauea. Popocatépetl 20,000. Santa Guido. Nevada del Ruiz 22. Purase 19. Wow. In Colombia. This one popping back onto the list at a 19,000-foot blast. There's a big release of energy right there. That's not a new path of resistance. It's a volcano event, but a new path of least resistance to let a 19,000-foot blast on its first go round. That probably caused one of the drops in the spike on this human when it went back to regular pressure. This new one right here, especially at 19,000, that's huge. That takes a lot of pressure to blow up that high. That could be part of our relief right there. Meanwhile, Sangay at 20,000 still. Reventador. And then here are this list. And this is the list of insanity. It told people there are 76 active volcanoes. They would go, yeah, no. 37 are currently erupting. Don't forget about Krakatoa and the Sunda Straits. Okay. And some of you found Dr. Astrogeotech. He does more volcano reports in one day. Oh my God. So he keeps you up to speed if you want to be up to speed. I'm just kind of giving you this report, basic report here, so you can get a gist of what's going on, because we got other stuff to cover here. All right. One to kind of watch out for, Cotopaxi. Just something telling me about that one. I don't know. Hopefully I'm wrong, but we don't want to see any more of these, any more activity, but I'm sure we're 76 and climbing, so about to hit double sevens here. Now let's do our weather report. Okay, our tropical tidbits. Everybody ready for a tidbit? Okay, get your tidbits. Models for you guys. They're forecast models. Okay, our event, what I issued a PDS warning for this. Okay, the weather, they've issued PDS warnings for tornadoes, and now they've used the same thing, potentially dangerous situation for the fire, for the winds coming in here for the fires before. Well, here we have a different type of weather event, but it is very dangerous. This cold air, too, that's dropping way down here, it's going to get really cold, life-threatening cold up here. So the PDS isn't just for this area. Now it extends all the way up here in the north, because the cold air pocket is so cold, it's very, very dangerous. You shouldn't be out in it. If you don't have to be out in it, that's what we're kind of telling you a few days ago. Go get prepared. So, current conditions right now, they are kissing and making babies. Here is your warm, moist air colliding with that cold air. The warm air is going over. It's hotter, it's higher. The cold air is underneath, and it's raining down through that cold air, causing ice right there in Texas. Look at this. Way down here at the southern tip of Texas. Okay, so that's your current conditions right now. Pray for these people. I want to show you something here. Let's see if we can get this one more higher. Okay, some of this icing is actually showing up offshore, and that would be good if a lot of this icing missed the land in the city and the streets and stuff and actually happened out over the water. Okay, because then it wouldn't have such damaging effects, the icing, when it happens over the water. Meanwhile, snow on the backside. This whole cold air mass is going to be so cold, they're going to see some snow here. Okay, so part icing on land and part in the water, which would help if the more that's over the water, the less that's on the land, the better, right? For damage and stuff in lives and property damage. That's your morning times. Okay, that is now going to happen. Okay, there's now, and the very next frame is going to happen. There's your noontime. Now see how it turned to snow, and the icing event kind of stays offshore, stays like snow. right through here. Now, okay, here we go. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. Get ready for some snow. It's going to be deep snow. It's going to be blizzard type effects. You're going to have severe weather with some ice in there. And then once this passes, all this cold air is going to solidify it. It's going to set up on the ground and stay. It's not like warm air is going to come melted away really quick. No, you got this huge blob of cold air that's just going to keep that on the ground for a day or two. This severe right here, right through Georgia, Florida, that is going to be quite an event right there. I'll even zoom in for you right there. That's just hours away right here. Okay, so don't go out in this. All right, this ice, it'll set up and freeze on the road as black ice that you can't see. It just looks see-through. It looks like wet road. You got black ice, and then snow comes behind it and lands on it. So you're getting icing event, and then it snows on top of it. There's nothing slipperier, or more slippery than ice with a coating of snow on it. It doesn't matter if you have a four-wheel drive, you are going to be out of control. Okay, so these are non-travel conditions. You don't want to be out in that, especially people that aren't used to that kind of weather. I was born and raised in the mountains. I'm used to snowy weather, but these people don't. They don't have. Well, they're not prepared. So we're going to see some consequences, some devastation. Pray that it's not too bad and there's not loss of human life, but you can see that is a very dangerous situation, a potentially dangerous situation. Therefore, my PDS warning too, again, for this whole region with the ice and the snow, and then back up in here, this cold air pocket. If the power goes out and these people lose heat, they will freeze to death. So pray for them that they don't lose power up in this region, because the cold air mass that's coming down through here is just ugly. And I'm sure you guys have seen it on some other weather reports. I could go into a lot of detail, but we got other stuff. I do multiple things instead of just one weather report. There it goes, moving offshore by the morning of 22nd. Okay, noontime it's gone. But all this cold air back behind it is going to keep all that snow and ice frozen. It's not going to warm up the next day and melt away. So there's the morning of the 23rd. Still that big old cold air pocket. There's the morning of the 24th where you're starting to see moisture come up out of that area. Didn't even make it. There's still cold air coming back down. So this is going to be a long duration cold freeze for the country, for half the country right there. Everybody get ready. If it knocks out power down there and gets cold, then, I don't think people in the South have fireplaces or prepared to burn wood to stay warm, so they could be in for a doozy. Here's around the 26th time frame. This is still too far out in advance to be any accurate, but we could see similar type event go through there. Okay. Alrighty. Otherwise, the rest of it looks pretty good. Whoa, look at that thing. Now that's way out at February 1st, but you see how this cold air mass drawing moist air up, it finally gets its comma shape, gets its act together and organizes that comma shape. And there's little splotches of ice going all the way down this. Little dots right there going down it. And then, boom, it really concentrates to another one of those dark purple patches here. That's severe ice right there with severe weather. That kind of scenario right there it's like a textbook case of what we're seeing here with our thermals and our winds. Come here, back here to our winds, please. In our setups. Okay, get this set up here really quick. Warm, moist air coming up, flowing up. Actually, right now, it's hitting that pocket and getting pulled over this way. So it's not making it up into the country. So that's good. But all it takes is a little shift, and that this warm, moist air flows up into the cold air that's coming over this and down. Let's see if we can get that. There we go. All right, so thankfully this plume is keeping a lot of that hot, moist air, driving it in more into Mexico right there. That's what's allowing the cold to come way down like that too. Look at this right here. Wow. All right, and it's also causing your offshore winds here in California, your Santa Ana winds, the same configurations coming around again. So pray for everybody down there. All right, there's your tidbit right there. That's way out by the 28th or 5th, sorry. Yeah, I think that was the last frame. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Let that play for a second while we kind of get ready to switch over for spiritual report. Yeah, it looks like we got just the regulars, and I don't have anything picked out. Where were we? No, we got the net. Um, yeah, that one, I know that one. What else do we have here? No, I didn't pull anything inside to read tonight. Okay. Yeah, we'll start right about there. Oops, let me bump everything and knock it all out of alignment. All right, cool. You guys are so patient and tolerant. So let's get some images pulled up here. I think we did some dot work last night, so we don't really need to do much explaining for any newcomers unless somebody really requests anything. So let's just get set up here. Yeah, pretty crazy when all this paranormal activity really happens to you. You know, it's not like it's a ghost hunter show or whatever. It's the real thing. It's like, whoa, I never dreamed when I was a kid, stuff, something like that would be happening to me. And everybody thinks, oh, it'd be so cool to have this happen to you. Yeah, wait, it's a little scarier than you think. But it's cool that it's happening all around you and it's actually happening physically to me. It's a lot scarier, but glad it's happening to me because it's something somebody else, most people wouldn't want to have to deal with. So. There we go. There's a couple of images we're getting closed in on here. I'll even pull up the one with the heart. It's the same old images, but I got to get them tattooed on your brain in case we'd never have those images to look at again. They're going to be tattooed on your brain. And they're good, wholesome, true, pure. You're looking at all this negative stuff. I mean, today was a good day in the news. It wasn't so negative, but there was some stuff that was still shenanigans going on. We'll talk about that here. Oh, good. We got her to do it. Thank you. Pause right there. Go back right there. That's good enough. All right, one more here. You know the drill. Perfect. And I pull this one up sometimes just so you guys understand. I didn't take this picture. This is somebody else's. Okay, so a lot of people can say, oh, your stuff is doctored, blah, blah, blah. Well, how come my face is showing up? Everybody else is capturing my face too. So that's why I bring this one up. And then this one also happened on February 29th, which is Leap Day. It only happens one day every 4 years. So a very rare day picked out that this event happened. And during the event is when we were doing our spiritual report. I had the light turned on and I was reading to you guys at the very moment this gentleman was recording this. Remember, he said, we better call somebody, right? Well, he should have been calling YouTube and said, where's the show? Because there we are. There's that. And now, I guess we'll start right here. Get my light back going on. Now, a lot of good things happened today. who got this picture right there. This is a video from a gentleman. This was on sent in to Mr. MBB. I had the original video, not the original, but a better version of it, and it's been pulled off of YouTube. But this is Mr. MBB's channel. He's doing a report on this guy who recorded this space. Here, you go over it really quick here. Let's just do it really quick. Can we have some volume more?
Leo. These are the people that right here that saw this. And he says right there.
Now, hold up. Let me zoom so everybody can see it. Nice. Zoom on it. Hey, y'all need to call somebody. Yeah.
I don't know. It says December 21st, 2023,
It's the wrong date.
1:45 a.m. They went inside, got people to come outside. You can tell they were walking outside, half tired, looking up into the sky.
Too far there.
Murray Calloway. These are the people that right here that saw this.
It's up there again. There's the face.
And he says right
This
there.
is not an app.
Here, let me listen to what he says.
It's a face. Everybody's out here.
This is 1:45.
Everybody's out here looking. We're coming out here to see. Look, I gotta get this. Y'all see that?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Now, hold up. Let me zoom so everybody can see it. Nice. Zoom on it. Hey, y'all need to call somebody.
Who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters. Is there something weird in your neighborhood? Who are you gonna call? Adbusters. There we go. Really, seriously, guys? I just wanted to skip one spot on an already played
An
video.
elaborate hoax. And
Pause right there. Not an elaborate hoax. Actually captured by somebody with a very good camera. All right. There's just a quick little ditty to help explain to the person who asked the question here. Okay, getting back to our reading now. We'll get that in theater mode. All right. And now, okay, back to what I was talking about. We had a very long duration marathon we went through in waiting for, results from our election, right? A lot of possibilities could happen. So a lot of prayers going out. Answered prayer, because we made it to that finish line, or to that into that journey, right? And then there's also outgoing people, right? And they did some shenanigans, right? And that's what seemed to capture people's attention more than the good news was the bad news. Okay. Some people are still, captivated by the election stuff, but a lot of people were stuck about, what the evil people are doing, right? And it's important that we do not worry about evil people who prosper and don't fret about their wicked schemes. In this day of instant communication, you have access to so much information and news that it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Not only do you hear about evil people and their wicked schemes, you also see the graphic details. This visual imagery has a powerful impact on your brain chemistry. A steady diet of carnage can make you anxious and fearful. Okay, so we have good news sometimes, we have bad news, but if you're always focused on bad news, you're going to have anxiety and fear, right? Now, I want you to pray about world events and pursue peace as you are able. Okay? Pursue peace as you are able. That's the call right there. It's crucial to recognize what you can change and what you cannot. So, fretting about things that are beyond your control will drain your energy and discourage you. Instead of this hurtful focus, endeavor to fix your thoughts on me. I am with you and for you. So, delight yourself in me. And remember that I am a God of justice and I know everything. Eventually, I will right all wrongs. So be still in my presence, trusting in me with a steadfast heart while waiting for me to act. Okay, don't worry about what the other evil people are doing. Focus on the path ahead, just one step at a time, one day at a time. Okay, get that one going on there too. What's the other one he told me you said? Oh, where's that? It's on the backside of this, and it should be. Yeah, here. So, also, I had a lot of joy today, and other people feeling sad. There's still other events going on around the world. So, whenever you're feeling sad, I want you to anticipate feeling joyful again. Okay, remember we're kind of waiting for this election. We're feeling sad. We're still drawn out until we're waiting until the final day. So back then we were feeling sad, and I wanted you back then to anticipate feeling joyful again. Well, here we are. A lot of people are joyful again. The world is, let's just. I got to be careful with the politics, but I just want to let you know that when you're feeling sad, I want you to anticipate feeling joyful again. Okay. No matter what it is, if there were some circumstances in your life today, if you lost a treasured pet or something, I want you to anticipate feeling joyful again, because this takes the sting out of your sorrow, because it's only temporary. Okay? It's only temporary. Sadness tends to duplicate itself along a timeline, convincing you that you'll always be unhappy, that you will always be unhappy. See, you're convincing yourself that you will always be unhappy. We got to stop that poisonous practice of self-talk in our mind, of convincing ourselves that we will always be unhappy. You need to anticipate feeling joyful again, because it takes that sting out so you can function. Okay? Sadness will duplicate itself along a timeline. It'll convince you that you'll always be unhappy. But this is a lie. The truth is, all of my followers have infinite joy ahead of them, guaranteed throughout eternity. So no one can take this away from you. Your sadness is temporary. Okay? Remember, your sadness. So when you're feeling sad, anticipate feeling joyful again. Remember, sadness is temporary. Careful, it can duplicate itself and convince you that you'll always be unhappy. That's that slippery slope of self-pity and depression that we got to avoid. It's this convincing yourself that you'll always be unhappy. You have every reason to be ecstatic right now. You just hit the lottery, baby. More than the lottery, the lottery only pays money, and that'll be no good in the spiritual realm. You just hit the spiritual lottery, baby. It makes man's lottery look like change on the bathroom floor. Okay, so I want you to remember, when you're feeling sad, it's temporary. Don't convince yourself that you'll always be unhappy. Okay, it's only temporary. Anticipate feeling joyful again. And then there might be bumps in the road again, and you'll have to recover from that and salvage that day and salvage this. Okay, that's what we're doing. And you guys are getting stronger each time you do it. Okay, and the more you practice it, the more experience you have, too. You go right to it. Now, very important that you don't convince yourself that you'll always be unhappy, even in hard times, okay? The truth is, all of my followers have infinite joy ahead of them that's guaranteed throughout eternity, and no one can take that away from you. Your path through this world has many ups and downs. Your down times are difficult, but they serve an important purpose. Pain and struggle help you change and grow stronger when you trust me in the midst of that adversity. Your troubles are comparable to a woman who's enduring labor pains. The suffering is very real, and she might wonder how much longer she can bear the pain. However, this arduous struggle, what you're going through, this arduous struggle produces a wonderful result, a newborn baby or your newborn spirit. I showed you that little baby, that spirit, okay? That's the Holy Spirit. You're going to have a newborn spirit, okay? After overcoming and growing stronger. Pain and struggle help you change and grow stronger when you trust me in that adversity. Your troubles are comparable to the woman, okay? Arduous struggle produces wonderful results. So while you labor through your earthly struggles, because you're in labor, while you labor through your earthly struggles, keep your eyes on the promised reward, which is boundless joy in heaven. And even now, you can grow in awareness of my presence where there is fullness of joy. Is that connected to this one somehow? Let's see. Again with this one, a lot of stuff comes back around to this little section again because it's important you understand all this is wrapping around because to this central idea that I am making you new in the attitude of your mind. Okay, I'm giving you a new perspective, a new way of looking at things, an attitude of gratitude. We've been talking about that. The attitude of gratitude kind of takes the sting out of events that come along in your life and, kick you in the teeth sometimes. That's that one. Okay, so where else to go? So I'm making you new in the attitude of your mind. Living close to me is all about newness and change. I am transforming you by the entire renewal of your mind. And this is a massive undertaking. You will be under construction until the day you die. So, unlike these innate materials that we use to build and construct houses with, you're not an innate material. You are living, breathing material. Okay, carpenter uses wood. Well, I use living, breathing material. That's you. I have given you the amazing ability to think things out and make important choices. I want you to use this godlike ability to cooperate with me as I transform you. This involves putting off your old self and your old way of thinking and your old way of doing things and putting on that new self, that new attitude of the mind. I'm making you new in the attitude of your mind. So putting on that new self is that new attitude of your mind. You got to put away those old ways of the old self. What we were just looking at for the last 4 years. You got to put that away, that old way of thinking and doing things, and prepare for the new. You're going to be putting on a new self. Okay? This is godly transformation. Okay? Now, to make good godly choices, you need to know me as I truly am. So search for me in my word and ask my spirit to illuminate it, shining his light so that the scriptures come alive to you. The scriptures come alive to you in person, right here, right now. Okay? The light comes alive in you, and the more you choose to live according to my will, the more you will become like me, and the more you can enjoy walking in the light of my presence. You guys right now are either walking, sitting, watching in the light of my presence. You are in the light of my presence. When you go forth each day and practice these things, you are walking in the light of my presence. So you guys are doing it too. Oh no, I don't want that one on there. Where's the... Okay. I guess this too. All right. Last little bit right here. Refuse to worry. Okay. And what helps you refuse to worry is understanding that you're the one I love. Okay. You're the cherished one. Okay. Think about that. You're my cherished one. Okay. You're precious to me. You're cherished to me. So refuse to worry, remembering my cherished one. Displace those worried thoughts with trusting and thankful thoughts. Affirm your faith in me while praising me for all that I am and all that I have done. This combination of praise and trust is what's potent. Okay? It's the praise and trust that is potent. That's what drives away anxiety and the powers of darkness. The combination of praise and trust. The praise means that you believe. It's not like, oh, trying to polish up my ego or something like that. It's totally different. It works for your mental health. When you're praising me, that fixes you. It means you believe. That means you're accepting. That means you trust. So this combination of praise and trust is what's potent and drives away anxiety and the powers of darkness. It also strengthens your relationship with me, because when you see the results, all of a sudden then you believe me even more. And the more we trust each other, the stronger our relationship gets. Right? Okay. So affirm your faith in me while praising me, because praise and trust are the potent tool that drives away anxiety and the powers of darkness. It also strengthens your relationship with me. So you may still have legitimate concerns to deal with, but I will help you with them. As you become more peaceful, you can look at your problems in the light of my presence and seek my counsel. Let Scripture inform your thinking so that I can communicate with you more clearly. Take time to thank me for the many good things in your life. Because when you're doing the grateful list, it all of a sudden you realize, hey, there's people that just lost their houses. I still have a roof over my head, right? That's what takes you out of that negative mind thought into a thankful mind, an attitude of gratitude. So take time to thank me. It's good for your mental health, okay? I want you to express gratefulness in your prayers, in your conversations with others, and in your private thoughts. Take time to thank me for the many good things in your life. I want you to express gratefulness in your prayers. That's where you thank me. You take time in your prayers, thankfulness in your prayers. Always start out with a few thankfuls and then do your prayers. And you'll see that it helps you and it draws you closer to me. You do it in your prayers, your conversations with others. Okay, I just bounced into a guy and he was like, wow, man, you got the coolest vibe. You just brighten my day. See, because it works. So you grateful in your prayers, you're grateful in your conversations with others, and you're grateful in your private thoughts. I read your thoughts continually, and I rejoice when they contain gratitude. So you can thank me even for the things you wish were different. This act of faith helps you break free from negative thinking. This act of faith helps you break free from negative thinking. Starting to get it? You want to get rid of negative thinking? Act of faith. Because an act of faith helps you break free from negative thinking. So in everything, give thanks, and that's my will for you. And you want to know what my will is for you? Giving thanks in everything, even in your trials, in your tribulations. This is a totally different lesson, but it just reminded me of something. I went into the chat just to see if anybody put a 7 in there, and I know who's got it down. I know, but I saw a couple of people in there did put their 7s in there. And when you understand that aspect of me, that split down the middle there, and you understand that I love you, so if I love you, then I'm for you, right? And if I am for you, then who can be against you? Ah, you're good to go. You're solid gold. Because if I am for you, the only person who could be against you would be me. But I'm for you, so who can be against you? Got to kind of keep that in the back of your mind, too, and understand how that applies inside your mind. If you're fighting to salvage your day, if you're fighting to be positive, if you refuse to go negative, then who can be against you? If I'm helping you and I'm for you, then I can't be against you too. So you got to remember that you won my heart. You guys won my heart. Okay? I love you. And this is a promise for all my followers. When things are not going your way and people you trusted turn against you, it's easy to feel if you've been abandoned. Okay, most Christians feel kind of lonely right now. They feel abandoned. And at times it's vital to tell yourself the truth. I am not only with you always, I am for you all the time. Might not seem like it, but I am for you. So who can be against you? Okay? That helps kind of take away the anxiety, and you're the cherished one. Okay? So refuse to worry, my cherished one. Displace worried thoughts with trusting, thankful thoughts. I'm making you new in the attitude of your mind, that attitude of gratitude. A couple of quick thankfuls, and then you put in your prayers. So many blessings, so everything. Just out getting gas, Thank you for getting through traffic and protection in traffic. People could rear end you, could bump into you at any angle. It's not your fault, but protection out in the battlefield, When you have this grateful attitude, you apply this, you go through your day realizing that you're in the obstacle course, you're going to fall down, you're going to trip. These obstacles are meant to trip you up, and as soon as you got it down, you think you got it wired, here comes a new avenue, all right? 7 years ago, before all this happened to me, I was a good, strong believer. I was walking my walk. I had patience. I had tolerance. I had all the qualities. I had all my notes, and everything was going perfect. And then this happened, and I had to do it all over again in a different way, in a different intensity level. So it's important that you understand we're making you new, the attitude of your mind. You are the cherished one, so refuse to worry. If I am for you, who can be against you? When you're praising and trusting, that's the potent weapon right there that fights anxiety. Okay, you see these images. This is real. That's the coolest thing about this. These are real images. That's the trusting part. The moment you trust me, something miraculous happens to you. Okay? And then you practice these disciplines in your life. It's not like you have to go out there and forcefully practice them, but when a situation comes up, then you'll have the tool to use it and apply it. something getting to you and it's ruining your day, step aside. Take a moment, few breaths, meditate and pray. Jesus, help me calm down. Help me accept that I can't change the situation. Help me see it from your perspective. I'm going to grow from this. How am I going to grow from this situation, Lord? It's not a situation because you hate me. It's a situation because you're making me grow. Okay, when you look at stuff from that perspective, everything a lot of things lose their sting and their power. Okay, and that's why it's important that you practice this so other stuff doesn't get to you so bad. All right. And remember that you're the one who's plugging into the news, whatever it is of the day that's getting you riled up. So you can always unplug and step aside, say a few prayers, regain composure, and then proceed with the rest of your day. And if something trips you up, do the same process, regain composure. If sometimes there's different processes. Maybe you have found taking a walk helps. Maybe you have found that watching a show helps. Uh, to tell you the truth, you might get to a phase where you are in spiritual salvation throughout your day so intensely that to escape the spiritual realm, you come back into the physical, mundane, stupid news to take your mind off of the biblical stuff. You'll get to that point too, where you're not looking at this to escape the fake news. You're seeing so much spiritual realm stuff that you got to step away from that and put something fake on just to distract your mind from that. And wait until you get to that point. That's when you know that this is really working, that you have notches in your belt from experience. You've gone out there and salvaged today. You saw how it worked. The rest of your day went fine because you took that leap of faith to say, you know what? No, I'm refuse to get negative about this. I'm going to grow from it. Okay? There are no mistakes when you grow from them. Okay? I just wiped out mistakes. Who can make mistakes and just wipe them out? Who can take your mistakes and just make them null and void? Well, I can do that if you look at it from the perspective that your mistakes are growth opportunities. Don't curse your mistakes. Don't pray away your blessings. Accept them, take them on, grow from them. You're becoming a battle-hardened warrior. Whether you're a man or a woman and you're not in the military or you're going to be a spiritually hardened warrior with experience, not just under your belt. You'll know exactly what to do when the time arises, and somebody else might need that help too. So you take what I have shown you and you take that and you bring it into other people's lives. And life is so much richer and fuller. Okay, I think that's it for tonight. Let me just go back through the chat every once in a while. There's New York Debs. Thank you, darling. Welcome back. Sorry about the miscommunication. I made it up for you. Make it up for you with a nice little blue wrench there. Okay. Thank you for forgiving me and coming back too, because I saw what happened there in the chat. I'm like, oh my God, I offended her. Oops. So we fixed that problem. That's what I try to do is correct the problem. Apologize. If I admit when I'm wrong, instead of, fighting against it, admit when you're wrong and fix the problem. That way it doesn't fester in your mind and grow into, some weird idol in your mind and you dwell on that stuff instead of focusing on fixing the problem, right? Okay, so I want to just go through chat really quick again. Thank you, New York Debs, Leslie for being here. Lizard Hunter, we're going to get you a wrench here too. Okay, last time it wouldn't let me go through the chat a little bit too. I tried to scroll through there to see what was going on, and I can't see it until it gets posted, and the chat gets posted with the video a couple days later. So I'm glad we got it all cleared up that way, got it all cleared up anyway. So, I sure love you guys. I miss you guys. I really do. One of these days, you're gonna run into me, and I'm gonna give you a big old hug. I can't do it right now because, well, we all live in different parts of the country. So I have to meet my family in the air. That's by live streaming on YouTube, where I went ahead and made a channel where I am that you can be also, so that you could see this, what I captured here, my face in the clouds with a crown over it, coming with power and great glory on Easter. A 2,000-year-old prophecy came through on Easter. After the star alignment we seen and all the paranormal activity that happened to me, and nobody believed me. Hint, hint, nobody believed me. Yeah. Pretty ironic how all this stuff worked out, but I learned a lot along the way, and it's just that one little bit of trust right there, and it starts to grow and blossom. Okay, if you're here, you see this face of the crown, that's my face, and if you're intrigued, fascinated, captivated, you're caught up with me in the clouds. Okay, take you away from all your other circumstances for a while, so you can be in my presence. It's when you accept that, all of a sudden something magical happens to you. You just became a child of God. This is me coming in the clouds with power and great glory. If you're caught up with me in the clouds, where we met in the air of cyberspace, where I created this channel at YouTube like anybody else can, so that where I am, you may be. This chat is a family. This, not just the chat, every single viewer here is a potential family member. That's up to you. It's your choice. Okay, I'm showing you who I am so you can get to know me and make your decision. Okay, it's good that we have this imagery too, because this is already glimpses of your victory. Why would you want to pass this up? That's the weirdest thing I get. Well, I can still grasp it, but it's just, why would you want to pass it up? You know, it has all sorts of qualities. It gives you hope, courage, peace, and that's the peace, hope, and courage that I want you to take forward into other people's lives as well. Okay, so as a representative, you're doing the same thing. You're bringing peace, hope, and courage, the message, into other people's lives, telling them that, yes, you can still salvage your life. You could salvage today. You could pick up your chin right now and refuse to be depressed about your circumstances. View them from a brand new perspective as your challenge, and you overcome it with joy and integrity, and all kinds of stuff comes through this. And you guys are just growing like weeds, man. You're blossoming all over the place. So keep up the good work. You guys are progressing. The more you trust, the more it pays in dividends. It's they're not comparable, but as much as you put in, as much as you get out. Okay, so a little bit of trust, you'll get a little bit of result. Lots of trust, full result. Okay, equal quantity that you put in. So pretty cool. What happened to me? It's still going on too. Very painful, and well, I'm just glad that we made it through this part. I knew we would if we just had patience and tolerance and perseverance and praying for each other and staying positive. We made it to this point. It's going to be a bumpy road still. Okay, it's not like everything just went, perfectly gold, but it's turning around. Okay, we were in a deep valley there. We got to climb our way out of this valley, and that means climbing a mountain. Who better to climb a mountain with? All right, you guys got it. You guys, I love you. I miss you. It's late here. I got to get going. I would hang out with you guys some more, give you time to chat with each other. But thank you, everybody that was here. I'll get some more names out here. Jimmy, I know you were here earlier. Don Baker, thank you, sir. When you say that stuff, you feel it? When you feel how it blesses you and how that works? Because I see what you put in there sometimes. Leslie, Lizard Hunter, we love you. Where is the other? Or Tina P, that's her. Hi, Tina. Thank you for being here, darling. Joseph Figura. Good, good. Welcome. Good. Welcome to the family. Everybody is welcome here. And if I scare you, well, I'll apologize and try to make up. Olivia Hodges, thank you for being here. All right. John White, we got to get him a wrench. You've been here for a minute too. Okay, whoops. Just trying to thank everybody that showed up tonight. A little shout out. Sometimes people like to hear their names, especially being called by my voice. This isn't just any normal shout out by some YouTuber. When I call your name, oh boy, that means you're part of this family. Oh yeah, New York Deb's Dawn, absolutely. Well, that blesses you, Dawn. It just blesses you, and I'm so happy for you. Okay, I like to see people progress and do better. I want to see people, rise and become stronger and better people. Okay, I give this away freely because I know the power that it has. It really works. It's a real deal. So I got to give it away so you guys can find that relief when you need it. Okay, it's a crucial tool, and you guys have found out that it is. And when you're using it, the more you're using it, the more success you're having at it, the more you're going to have to turn to me or look at me and believe me. And most of you guys that are here already know that anyway. So, but important, your belief, your trust, and then you find out that you have a foundation on which you can build, a rock on which you can lean on, everything. There's Marcia. Hi, sweetie. I was wondering if you're hiding back in there. Everything comes with this, okay? If you apply it. Okay, so take what I have given you, this gift I give freely, so that you may be able to overcome your adversity with a positive attitude. Understand that it's not because you did something wrong. We're simply strengthening you. It's like, well, for any of you people that are parents, you have to tough love raise a child. So it's love, but it's a disciplinary love, a fatherly love, a tough love, but still love. Okay, this is a jungle. It's a jungle full of murderers, thieves, and killers, and I gotta strengthen you for this battlefield. I gotta give you tools so that you can deal with these people. All right. So keep practicing, keep growing strong with each step. Another little thing for you people that are in pain, look at your pain as each activity that you do while in pain, you are overcoming that pain and succeeding at opening the car door. It might hurt, but you open the car door and it was painful, but that's another crown. So your pain, you're overcoming the pain is just each step. You're getting multiple glories per day. Each step, each time that pain rides up and you just keep going, that you're just walking through it. Okay. And it might be painful, but it's paying off dividends. So remind yourself sometimes when you're in a lot of pain and you don't feel a good day, yeah, it's paying off dividends. I don't know how. Well, you're starting to see how. So just keep that attitude, keep going, keep plugging along step by step. On days when you're sore, like 4-speed manual downshift into third gear. Some days it's second gear. Okay. You might not get everything on your agenda done that day. Maybe 2 out of your 3 items that got done that day, but you had to move a little slower. So sometimes gear down when you need to gear down. Okay, if you need to take it a little easier, you have to do that. So recognize those instances, take a moment, say a few prayers. Jesus, help me accept the situation, help me grow strong, show me what to take from this situation? What are we to learn from this situation? Instead of getting mad at it, what are we to learn from it? Okay, how are we going to mature in our spiritual walk? Okay, when you look at it from that perspective, life becomes this like movie. You're the hero in an action movie, a real life hero in a real life action movie, and you're like, wait a second, I feel like some weird superhero character who's just walking through the valley of death without fearing any evil. That's the character that you are. And just keep going forward, step by step, remembering that that's your plot. You're just going through the obstacle course. Sometimes it's a steep hill. You got to downshift into first gear. Okay, remember there's multiple speeds that you can operate at. Remember that you plug into the things you choose to watch. If it gets too much for you, unplug. Sometimes my show can be overwhelming and you need to unplug. Okay, I know that as well. I know this information can be deeply disturbing and you might need to unplug from my channel for a while. I understand. I can relate. I know. I've been through it. I can relate. So remember, go at your pace. It's progress, not perfection. Perfection is when you've included me or included Jesus in your salvage work day by day. There's your perfection. Now you're achieving spiritual growth and you're viewing it as such, able to take on scenarios that would seem impossible before. You guys notice that you're kind of doing impossible things that weren't possible before. You're actually pulling them off now. You're like, wait, how did that? I thought it would all fall apart when we hit this juncture or we hit that juncture. No, it still all stayed together. You're still walking on, like, it's almost like thin ice or glass. It's like walking on water. You're pulling it off. You're walking through this world without the spirit, without the negativity affecting you as much. It still affects you, so you fight it off and you recover your day, and then you see your spiritual walk and how you're growing. And I watch every step, and it's beautiful. You guys are taking it on, and you're seeing the results. You're at a stage here where a lot of people wish they were, and when something comes up, they will not have these tools and know what to do. So you might have to step in where you need to, where you're at, where I've put you, and the people you've been put around. Those are the ones you go rescue. Okay, like a shepherd, you have a little flock around you. So when times go tough, you're going to be that light that shines in their darkness. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I gotta go. If you see this, you are caught up with me in the clouds. There is no word rapture in the Bible. Okay. And another thing, too, we're going to have to get into another word that's not in the Bible, and everybody's so insistent on the term Antichrist. The word Antichrist is not in the Bible, okay? And a lot of people had this wrong the whole time. They had religion, they thought it was this, they thought it was that, they didn't know. They failed to see it's a relationship, not a religion. Religion causes wars. But once you get to know me and you have a relationship, well, then you see that you were on the wrong side of a fake war, that both sides were wrong. Both sides were wrong. Muslims were wrong. Both sides were wrong. Catholics were wrong. Told you, everybody'd have it wrong. But for some people that trust me, that see me in the clouds coming with power and great glory, they get caught up in it. They're like a good book, a good song. You are caught up with me in the clouds, here in the air, where I made a place where we meet. Okay, if it hasn't caught on yet, don't walk away. Don't give up until the miracle happens, because this is for you. I do this for you. Okay, it's not monetized. This is my family. I love you guys. I miss you guys. And until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? Love you all. Bye. And the way this shuts off, you might see my face accidentally, so don't scream.